Happy
Mhm.
Friday. Thanks for tuning into the Music Brew. Today will be the 10th episode of the podcast, which is something to celebrate. It's been a great journey so far, and I've been blessed to
Yes.
interview great people along the way. And today I have a special guest on the Music Brew. My guest today is a researcher on language, culture, and identity, and sociolinguistics. And he's a lecturer at the language department at King Fahd University of Petroleum and Minerals, Saudi Arabia. In 2017, he was a finalist for the President's Award for Best Instructor of the Year. Congratulations, by the way. And he has also
Appreciate
released
it.
multiple publications, which can be found on Google Scholar and has written articles published in Oxford University Press. More recently, as an author, he's worked together with former rapper and Outlaws member Napoleon and has written a book about his life entitled Life is Raw, the story of a reformed outlaw, which is scheduled for release on August 14th and available on major ebook platforms. Today, I welcome to the Music Brew Sulaiman Jenkins. Pleasure to have you here
Salam, how are
today.
you?
Good, thank you, man. Good,
How's
thank
it?
you.
Yes,
Good,
same here. Same
great
here. Same here.
to have you here, coming from the other side of the world. Very happy to talk to you today.
Yep.
So we'll get
Appreciate it, man.
into it,
My
man.
pleasure. Thanks for reaching out.
Thank you, man. How's everything going in the
Um,
lead up to the book,
yeah.
to the release?
Chaotic.
Yeah,
It's a real, it's a real process to put something out there, for consumption. But everyone is so excited about it, and we just want to capitalize on that momentum.
yeah,
It's an incredible story, and it's an incredible ride, but the thing is that I also think people are not going to be ready for the way that it's been told. So I
yes,
think that it's going to be a refreshing treat for them to see how this incredible story is told in this, really interesting way.
yeah,
In a way I don't think it's been done before. So
yeah.
we're very very excited. It's very stressful.
Yeah, I can imagine, but yeah, it will definitely pay off once everyone's able to get a copy and once you release it in its different iterations. We'll get into the book shortly, but I want to get an insight into your early life growing up. So you were born in Brooklyn, New York, and you've been living in Saudi Arabia for the last 16 years. Where did you
Yeah,
spend most of your time growing
yeah,
up, and what kind of student were you in high school?
yeah. Okay, great questions. When I spent most of my life in the States.
Yeah.
I left the States at 23. I was born in Brooklyn, but I was very fortunate to get academic scholarships to some prestigious schools in America, high school, college, and graduate school. So I've kind of been all over the place. I spent the earlier part of my life in Brooklyn until high school, and then in high school I went to a prestigious private school in Delaware
Hmm.
for 4 years, and then after that went to another high-powered school in Massachusetts for 4 years, and then returned back home for 1 year to finish my master's degree at NYU.
Yeah.
And then after I finished, and that was in teaching English, and then after that, then I came to the Middle East. I've been here ever since. I mean, I go back and forth,
Yeah.
but I've been here as an expatriate, ever
Yeah.
since.
That's great, man. And congratulations on
Yeah,
all your accomplishments.
appreciate it,
Um,
appreciate it. Yeah, academically, I've been very fortunate to have achieved the high levels.
yeah, definitely, man. And who were some of your literary influences as well as musical influences in your early life? And do they still influence you
Hmm.
today?
In terms of literary influence, I can't really say I had one in particular, but in high school that was really the place where I learned and studied the classics. Shakespeare, Baldwin. Some African American scholars, Chaucer. So really classic literature, and then some contemporary literature. So it was, and then they focused a lot on just developing your creative voice,
Hmm.
with similes and metaphors and onomatopoeia and things like this. It wasn't until I got to college that they really, honed in on academic skills, so as a researcher. So that's when I really was able to flourish, in that regard. Um, the book, and I know we're going to get into it, is really it's really a combination of both. So I think that's what's going to be refreshing for people.
Yeah.
Is that it's not only an academic text, but there's also a lot of sort of literary devices used and things like that.
Right.
In terms of music, I used to listen to music. Now I don't. I just don't. I don't have time.
Yeah.
But I used to listen to one of the most influential was Tupac. He was just, he was just, I mean, he was just such an inspiration and role model, for young black males, myself included. I grew up without my father, so for him, he really made sense for me for a lot of things about being a black man in life and in America. So he was very influential. And then being from Brooklyn, obviously Biggie Smalls and Jay-Z,
Yeah.
Nas because he's from New York. So the heavyweight, the classic ones. The rubbish to me is rubbish what they have now. They don't really talk about anything.
Yeah.
And to me, their skills are not as polished, as that time. That was like the golden age of hip hop and rap, and they're actually talking about things. Now it's just about get funny and get crazy. And so,
Yeah. Yeah.
but
Yeah. No,
but yeah, those were the most influential and the ones I listened to the most. Even Eminem.
yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Because lyrically, he's very gifted.
That's right. Yeah.
Hmm.
And what do you enjoy the most about living in Saudi? And I read that you're a big basketball fan and played early on while at St. Andrews. Do you follow any team in Saudi?
Yeah. No. I mean, yeah. In terms of basketball, I love basketball. That's my first passion. Um, in Brooklyn, it's very, basketball is big, it's huge. New York have some of the best basketball players, in the world, I'd say. I'm from Brooklyn, so I follow Brooklyn Nets. Yes, I follow it. It's in my veins, man. So I can't go, any day without checking out highlights and things like that.
Yeah.
It's not very popular in this side of the world, believe it or not.
Mm.
Soccer, football,
Yes.
as it's called, that's what's popular. So, you'd be hard pressed to find a Saudi basketball game. So I
Mm.
just play with friends and things like that. What do I enjoy most about being out here? Honestly, it's the peace and safety. You
Yeah.
know, it's really unimaginable how peaceful it is out here. Coming from Brooklyn, where you can't leave your car door open, you can't, your car unlocked and things like that. It's really, I kid you not, it's really like almost surreal how peaceful it is here. People leave their cars open, go to the shop, the car is on, they go in for a minute, take care of the business, come back out. Nobody's in it. Nobody's thinking about taking the car.
Yeah.
And it's just such an unbelievable, amount of peace. The other thing is that, as an expat, I enjoy, certain privileges being, not having my income tax and things like that. So, financially, it's advantageous to be over here as well.
Mm.
And it's just a cool vibe, man. There's a lot of things here that I can get in America. It's basically like, I feel like, all the signs are in Arabic and English. So, I don't feel different.
Yeah.
It's quite comfortable.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw in a video when you were
Yep.
talking with Muta how in regards to how peaceful it
Yeah.
is. He was saying how the
Yeah.
first time he's never had to lock his front door, and yeah, just the how tranquil and peaceful it
Yeah.
is there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really is. It's really surreal, man. You wouldn't believe it. You have to come and see it. Like one time, because I'm Muslim, I make prayer, and you have a guy, who he might be selling dice, outside of the mosque right before the prayer, and he's has all this stuff laid out, all this electronics, all this, perfume, whatever, and then the prayer time comes, and he literally just leaves it as it is, goes to pray, comes out and knows that nobody touched it, nobody took anything. No,
Yeah.
I'm like, what the hell is this? He can't be. Are you serious? That would never happen in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
As soon as he leaves, 2 seconds, it's gone. It's all gone.
Oh, yeah, that's amazing, man. Hopefully one day I can visit out that way. I've never been. Yeah.
Welcome, man.
Yeah.
Welcome, man.
Have you ever traveled out this
Welcome.
way to Australia?
And I love to visit Australia. I have a buddy. No, I was just about to say I have a buddy from. Where is he from? Man, I can't remember.
Is it
Can you name some big cities in Australia?
Canberra, Melbourne, or
No,
Brisbane?
I think it's Melbourne. No, I think it's Melbourne. I think it's Melbourne.
Melbourne. Okay.
I think it's Melbourne.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Nice. Yeah, you definitely need to
yeah,
come.
yeah. But
Come
yeah, I
up.
would love to. I would love to go out there. Man, he's one of my buddies, man. His name is Yusuf. Right. Yeah,
Okay.
he's a good guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I love Australians. They're really laid back, chill.
Yeah. Yeah, I can
Yeah,
say
man.
it's
And they're
very
very open minded. You know, just really worldly people. You know.
yeah, that's true. And here as well, I'd have to say that it's very peaceful as well. In Sydney, like you don't have to worry like when you
Yeah.
travel on public transport or when you're going about your day, whether like if you leave something on a bus seat, like someone will actually approach you and hand it back to you, like if you left your wallet or your mobile phone.
That's what's up.
Um, and the same with
That's what's
security,
up.
like you feel quite safe as well. Yeah,
That's what's up.
yeah,
That's
man.
beautiful, man. That's the way life should be, you know. But
Right.
that's not the reality.
Yeah,
There's some very dangerous places, you know.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. Um, so we'll get into the book shortly, but you and Mutabil Napoleon, you're both from the East Coast. How did
Yeah.
you originally meet each other?
Yeah.
So you're from Brooklyn, he's from New Jersey. So tell me a bit about how you guys met.
Yeah. So this is amazing, man. You know, one thing about this whole experience, man, it's just again, it's just so surreal. Is that like I told you, I grew up. You know, we were roughly the same age. He's about maybe 4 years older than I
Hmm.
am. But I grew up listening to Tupac. That was my, I really, loved him. And then, but I listened to Tupac only. It wasn't until a bunch of my friends, they were a bit older than me, and they had outlaw tattoos on their forearm, and they all had bald heads. You know, we were really that hard into Tupac. But I never noticed the outlaw tattoos. They got it like fresh, and I said, "What's that? What's the outlaw tattoo?" He said, "Oh, you don't know about outlaws?" I said, "No." He said, "These are Pac's young homies."
Yeah.
I said, "Oh, really?" And he's like, "Yeah, they're your age." I'm like, "Oh, really?" So then I started listening to him. I'm like, "Oh man, these guys are crazy. These guys
Yeah.
are dope." You know, so I grew up, listening to Tupac and Outlaws, and of them, Mutar was my favorite one. Mutar, Gaddafi. So fast forward, Mutar becomes Muslim, I think, in 2002. I myself was born Muslim, but I wasn't always practicing. I became serious in 2002. He came to Saudi, I think 2005. I came to Saudi in 2004. We end up meeting through a mutual friend in 2008. So you got to imagine, and this mutual friend, he's a very good friend of both of ours.
Yeah.
So I'm like, wow, I can't believe I'm gonna meet, Napoleon. This is a guy, I look up to and enjoy his music, and now we actually meet brothers.
Yeah.
And then, but I never let him know, how much a big fan was, because he sort of, turned away from that lifestyle. But we maintained contact, just as good friends. But I never was, I had his number and stuff, but I wasn't blowing him up, like a groupie fan and things like that. It was just
Yeah. Yeah.
cool. So fast forward to 2015, we just reacquainted with each other again, just sort of, we just started hanging out a lot more. And I think he appreciated the fact that I had his number and didn't, wasn't, sort of bothering and things like that.
Mm.
So we chopped it up. Um, we ended up, he ended up opening a clothing company, and I had some extra money at the time. So I said, if I can invest, so he was like, sure, no problem. So I ended up becoming an investor in
Okay.
his, clothing company,
Yeah.
33. So then we had a business connection, and through that we just got closer and closer and closer. And then he released his documentary
Yes.
last year, in 2019, and the documentary was very well done. And in one of the comment section on Instagram, someone was like, we're just waiting for your biography. We're just waiting for your book to come out. And then I read that comment. I was like, time out. I'm an author. This is my man. Why don't we collaborate?
Yeah.
So I pitched the idea to him. Like, look, we're boys, but I have a little bit of talent with writing. And he had already written a book, a few years ago, but it was subpar, man.
Yeah.
I read it. I was like, dude, this doesn't do you or your story justice.
Yeah.
So I showed them some of the work that I had done beforehand, academically. I said, look, if I'm going to do the book, it's not going to be just, hood talk and, cursing and all this other stuff, because that's not really, won't be valuable to
Yeah.
people. Your life has a very interesting, story, and it intersects with so many different things that were happening at the time, so many different things that are crucial, to the hip hop history. And you were very, very close to Pac, so there are a lot of intimate things that you can share with people that nobody ever knew about Pac.
Yeah.
So I pitched the idea. I said, if you allow me to take more of an academic approach to the book, and I'm able to include everything that's related, to your life and story, then I think it's going to be a hit. He said, sure, no problem. We read the first chapter. I wrote the first chapter, showed it to him. He's like, man, that's what's up, man. Let's get it on. So, mashallah, so that's how we came together, and that's how the book was formed.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I saw your videos talking about it and how you're able to relate to so many people, like on a spiritual side, on a religious side, and a human and cultural side as well.
Right.
Yeah, and
Exactly.
I think
Exactly.
that's what the power of writing is, which is amazing.
Say it
But
again.
I was just saying how that's the power of writing. Just you're able to connect with
Yeah.
so many people and so many emotions that people feel.
Well, that was the whole premise behind it, because like I said, I didn't want it to just be. I mean, obviously, Mutar and myself, we're African American, we're black, we're Muslim, but I don't want it. I don't, just like the Malcolm X autobiography, where anybody can read it and take something from it, be affected by it. That was the exact same approach that I said. I said, look, and I hope it does get to that level of Malcolm X. But I said, I want anybody, who's the human being, to be able to take something from this book. And so I wrote the book with that in mind, with that kind of, different audiences. So in terms of like explaining certain things about his environment, I went into great detail to, because I'm imagining, okay, maybe there might be someone that doesn't know anything about black culture, doesn't know anything about growing up in the hood, doesn't know anything about Tupac, doesn't know anything about Islam. You know what I mean? So I took that approach, again, to make sure that anybody can read it and, take something from it.
Yeah, nice. I love it, man.
Yeah.
So going into the book,
Yeah.
you read the book Life is Raw, which is told by Muta.
Yeah.
It took 4 months to
Yeah.
write. So in a nutshell, it tells
Right.
the tumultuous early life of Muta and his time in the music industry and friendship with Tupac Shakur, and how he eventually found
Sure.
peace through Islam. Tell me about the writing
Sure.
process, and what did you learn more about yourself during the process itself?
It's an excellent question. Yeah, so the book is written, all by me. But he has narrations.
Yeah,
And the whole point of that, again, was, honestly, and I said this on an interview we just had the other day, I said, honestly, about 70% of the book, 75% of the book, I could have written by myself, because I know so much about the Outlaws and Tupac and history and things like that. But I said that wouldn't be, obviously, that kind of book wouldn't have as much currency if Mutar's voice wasn't there, or his impact wasn't there,
yeah,
So it was very critical for me to be able to have both voices in the book. So what he does is he narrates stories. He talks about what happened. And then what I do is I go back and then I look at, I write it from a storytelling standpoint, and, I also wanted to make sure that, because I'm a researcher, so anything that could
mm,
be documented, whether in books, whether in interviews, podcasts, YouTube videos, I made sure that I put that information in there, because I didn't want it to be a book that was just Mutar's opinion. People say, oh, this is what Mutar thought. No, whatever Mutar has said, you can cross-reference this
yeah,
anywhere. And we have, that was an incredible process, because most books you're not going to find pages and pages of references at the end.
yeah.
We have literally 14 and 15 pages of just
Just
references.
references, well.
I use 160 sources. So it's a very well book,
Yeah,
and when we talk about audiences, I also had in my professors, I would like this book to be taught, in as a college course,
yeah,
Professors appreciate that this is documented, things like that. So the process was extraordinary. I would sit with Mutar. He would just talk to me. We would record. He would talk to me, tell me about all these different stories. Before we actually started the book, I told him, look, these are the different themes that I want to come out through the book. And many of them dealt with mental illness, police brutality, Black America, his time in hip hop, his transition to Islam. How was the hip hop industry? What was it like life as a celebrity? Because I'm sure other celebrities are going to read the book as well, and they'll be able to
Yeah,
relate to
exactly.
the things he's talking about. So we looked at different themes, and then we just, and then basically I would write the chapter, send it to him, let him review it. He'll correct me on what happened, or it didn't happen quite like that, or he wanted to add things, and we just went back and forth, man. And for me, it was like a full-time job, man. I wrote
Yeah.
it in 4 months because I was so when your heart is in something, you just go full steam. And
Yeah.
that was what that was. I was working maybe literally 10 to 12 hours a day writing.
Wow.
Everything was just coming,
Yeah.
and yeah, and it was able to be done very quickly.
Yeah. That's amazing, man.
In terms of learning, yeah, in terms of learning anything about myself, you know, I had to go, like I said, I had to go back into the sort of the creative writing side of myself. Because I'm so used to academic writing, it's very dry and boring, and you don't really have space for, have liberty to really, you know, be creative.
Mm.
So it was refreshing for me to go back to that, and talk about, different metaphors, like explaining his, how he felt about death.
Yes.
The altercation with Pac in the MGM Grand Studio. I explained, I gave a metaphor about how the Thug Life tattoo basically, seeped into his veins and poisoned his judgment. Because so I was able to really get creative, and that was refreshing for me.
Yeah. Interesting, man. Thanks for that insight. And I read that Outlaws member Young Noble, he contributed considerably to the
Yeah,
project through being on the phone and reviewing
yes,
the manuscript. And rappers
yeah,
Gonzo and Storm also provided additional insight. How was it collaborating with
yep.
them both?
It was amazing. I mean, uh, Young Noble, he didn't read the whole manuscript, but he read and reviewed a lot because he had a lot of input and he had a lot of narrations. So what I did was, any again, in order to increase the authenticity of the book, we didn't want to just write what people thought about or what we thought people would say. We wanted to get it straight from their mouths.
Yeah.
So I contacted Young Noble, Storm, Gonzo, Steve Lobel, Hasachi, Trayvon Lane.
Mhm.
I mean, we contacted so many people, basically to get their perspective on Mutar. How on Napoleon. How was he as a person? How was it like rolling with him in those days? And then how did you see the perception? How did you see his change?
Yeah.
So that was cool, man. That was cool. To talk to them, and now we all follow each other on Instagram and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And again, for me, it was just amazing that I listened to these people, before.
Yeah.
Now I'm talking to them, having a conversation. Now
Yeah.
it's like family. It's really
Yeah.
amazing. But that was important, like I said, to get another layer of authenticity to the book.
Definitely. Yeah.
Direct quotes from these stars.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely, man. Like to get that outside perspective, but also the internal perspective from his close circle of friends. Yeah, that's great. Um, so I think
Exactly.
you kind of touched on this before,
They
but
didn't hold back. They were like,
oh, they didn't hold back.
yeah, yeah. Sorry, there's a little bit of a delay. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, man. You kind of touched on this before, but how did you want to differentiate the book from the 2019 documentary, which is also about the life of Muta? What was the objective for
Yeah,
you and Muta before you started writing the book? You mentioned that you wanted to explore several themes, or what was the main vision that you both
yeah,
had?
yeah. So again, the benefit of a book is that you have so much space, literary space, to really um, weave narratives, character development. These things you're not really you're sort of limited with the documentary, you know. And then again, like I said, yeah, there are a lot of themes that were repeated and that could be, that weaved all the way throughout. So again, mental illness, that's not really a theme of
The
the
docu.
documentary.
Yeah.
And not only mental illness with Mutaa, but also mental illness with Gaddafi. This issue of death, so many different deaths, and it happens at so many different stages in the book.
Yeah.
Substance abuse. We really talked about how, Mutaa really didn't have any alternative, or he didn't feel like he had any alternative except through substance abuse, and alcohol and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Anger issues. This is also a theme. Anger issues, police brutality. So we mentioned Pac is experience with police brutality. We talk about Rodney King. We talk about Mutaal's brother. We talk about we touch on some small incidents that Mutaal had himself with police brutality. So again, there's a lot more, and then there are a lot of stories that they just didn't put in the documentary. There's a side of Pac, that basically, and one of the things too for me was that I wanted to really investigate and lay in detail the East Coast West Coast beef, because that was a very central part of hip hop in the late 90s, and people want to know what Pac's perspective was, and Mutaa has a very intimate insight into that. Not only that, but for me it was also to sort of research and really paint Pac in a more compassionate, realistic, portrayal. That was important to me too, because he's always portrayed as a thug and not compassionate, not caring. This can be probably further from the truth. When you read the book, you'll see that he was he had a very sensitive side to it that many people don't know, and through these stories, through Napoleon, you're able to get that through. So there are a lot of things that are different. The book, I think, is it's richer than the documentary, and that's because it has to be, because it's a book. So our main goal really was to just shed light on Mutaal's life, but as it connects to so many different other things, and I think we achieved that.
Definitely, man.
And again, at the same time too, to just make the ride refreshing, and for me as an author, I appreciate good writing. So when I read something that's rubbish, I'm like, I can't deal with this. So I can't put something out that somebody else is gonna be like, nah, this is rubbish, So bro, it's almost 90,000 words. I kid you not, every single word was chosen carefully.
Yeah.
Every single of the 90,000 words was chosen carefully to make sure that the person, when they begin reading, they don't want to put it down.
Yeah.
And hopefully it achieved that objective.
Nice. Yeah, I know what you mean, man. Like you want them to have the ultimate experience when they're reading it. So that they can pass it on to another friend or family member. But yeah.
Exactly.
So
I have lofty goals, man. I want it to be a classic, man. Honestly, I really want it to be a classic,
Yeah.
And I don't say that lightly, but I truly do. I want it to be something that, touches everybody, and, people, love the book. They love it and they want to read it over and over and over again.
Yeah. Nice, man. We're down to the last few questions, Sulaiman. I just wanted to know, this is going off topic a little bit, but many influential leaders and people have cited the guidance of a high school teacher or lecturer in college or university as pivotal in their lives in terms of ideas or discourse which shape them. How important do you think it is to the overall culture and performance of a city or a country to not only equip teachers, but more importantly, provide additional funding to already underfunded schools and educational institutions, as well as provide better access and tools to young people? Yeah, I just wanted to get your thoughts on that.
Say it again. Sorry.
Yeah, so
it was breaking up. Sorry.
All right. So I was just saying how many influential leaders and people in society, they've cited their high school teacher or lecturer in university or college as pivotal in their life in terms of the ideas that shape them. how important do you think it is to culture and to the performance of
Sure.
a city or country to uh, to have well-equipped teachers and also to have the funding, especially in underfunded schools, and provide better access and tools for young people?
It's critical, man. It's education, really honestly, man. It is, they say it's the key, to success and development, and really truly is. I just look back to my own education, and in my formative years, the only reason why I am the way that you see me now is because I was fortunate, to be in situations, in schools, and learning environments where, where the teachers instilled in you, confidence. They instilled you, you are somebody, you will be somebody, and they dealt with you. You felt it, so they built your confidence.
Yeah.
Um, I was fortunate to go to an extra program. It was like it was a philanthropic 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 program that was well funded, well endowed, and they basically, and you went to it for free, and it really, really challenged you intellectually. And then, once you passed the program, you were able to get to, America's prestigious schools, for high school. And then when I went to high school, it was a free ride. The school itself, it cost like $80,000, and I was able to go for free, man, which is just amazing.
Yeah.
And so again, yeah, the money definitely, um, unfortunately, it has an effect on education. The it has, the more resources it has. I don't know if I would have been able to turn out the same without those opportunities. But at the end of the day, in capitalist societies, unfortunately, it's not. You just can't have. You can't have. When it comes to private universities, everybody won't be at the same level necessarily. But yeah, it's definitely government responsibility to make sure that every student has the resources and the tools available, to him or her, to make sure that they can be the best that they can be. You would never want a child's potential to be mitigated by something like not having, enough access, or resources.
Yeah.
And part of it again is also paying teachers well and having them motivated,
Yes.
to do their jobs and things like that. So it's all connected, but at the end of the day, like I said, a teacher is they have the power to make or break, students. So, I would definitely say that, people need to, they need to take it seriously. It's a very serious thing.
Yeah. That's great answer, man. And I guess I asked that question because with Tupac being a mentor to Muta and the other outlaws, and he himself was from the streets, but also he had that foundation from the Black Panther Party, and he had that education from his mother and
Exactly.
his family, which he shared with
Exactly.
Muta. So
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly. And that's the thing too, is that again, all these things come out in the book. We talk about how familial they were, Feeney and the Outlaws, how Pac would go out of his way to teach these guys lessons in life.
yeah,
He wasn't, people might think it was all. You can imagine outlaws, rowdy guys, famous. He would have them on a curfew because he's like, no, I'm not going to let, fame and fortune swallow you guys whole.
yeah,
So he, that's also a part, that part of his his educating them, about what life is as a celebrity and as a black celebrity, in America. He really wanted to really put them on. And then again, the social conscious aspect of his life with the Black Panthers and things like that. He also, schooled them up on that. So that, that's also in the book.
nice, man.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
okay, so I saw a video that you have your very own book in the works. So what other projects do you have in the pipeline for this year and moving into 2021?
Yeah, man. I don't know where I said that, because yeah, I'm not. It is a plan of mine, obviously. But yeah, for right now, it's not necessarily burnout, but I kind of want to just see where this goes and where it ends up, and then, yeah, my own biography is there. I mean, yeah, my autobiography is there, and then also BG Knockout is
All
also
right.
a prominent rapper.
Yeah.
He's interested in collaborating on the book, so that would be a major project. A
Yeah.
few people have hit me up about writing about their stories, so I might do a separate project about compilation of different stories, how they the rough lives that they had or the lives they had before Islam, and then how that what changed them and how Islam had a positive impact on their life.
Yeah.
And then from the book itself, there might be other people who approach myself. So I kind of I don't have anything set yet. What I do have is from an academic standpoint, there's one particular subject that I'm very passionate about, and it involves racism and discrimination in my field of English language teaching. So I might, try to get started on that as a academic book, purely academic. But again, these are sort of just things that are sort of on the horizon, but not, not haven't really
Oh, okay.
seriously. But
Nice.
yeah, I'll be busy in the next few years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll finish with our chat today, Sulaiman, with a great line that
Sounds good.
you left on one of your Instagram posts, which I found
Okay.
profound. So it
Okay.
says, in life, many people try to take precious things from you, your money, your time, your
Right.
honor, your position, and even your sanity. One thing, however, no one can take from you, no matter how hard they try, is your inner peace. So tell me how important
That's right.
being at peace with oneself is, and how greatly it can change one's life and inspire others to live peacefully as well.
It's important, man. I'm glad you asked that question. It's really central to who I am as a person, and how you see me now. Like I said, I was very fortunate to go to prestigious schools, and I
Yeah,
was all set up to. Honestly, I actually work on Wall Street, so I had a job set up. They made me a position. I was gonna make maybe 80 grand coming right out of college, but that summer that I worked there, it was awful, man. I had to be there 50 hours a week, 60 hours a week. It was just not a healthy environment. And
yeah,
inside and I'm partying all over the place. I'm not, you know, for me, I wasn't right inside. And I said, okay, I have all this money, I have all this, opportunity, but I'm not gonna be able to enjoy it if I'm myself, if I'm not right. So I made a huge decision, bro. And people looked at me like I was crazy. I was like, look, I can't do this, man. If my inner peace, if I'm not at peace with myself, I don't want it. So I turned my back on the offer. I gave it back to him. I said, no, and I became, more spiritual. And people looked at me like, what the hell's wrong? Like this guy who was a party dude, professional, about to work on Wall Street, make all this money, and you got the nerve to turn your back on
yeah,
that. What happened? People thought I went crazy. People thought I was brainwashed. People, whatever. I was like, nah, man, I have to do this for myself, man.
yeah,
And that was a major test for me at 20 years old. Are you gonna do what people think you should do? Are you gonna do what's right for yourself? For me at that point, I was like, nah, I'm gonna do what's right for myself, and I haven't looked back, man. I haven't looked back, and not for nothing, I've still maintained that commitment to excellence and striving and things like that. And now look at where I am now. So it all will come back to me one way or the other. But at least it's coming back to me, and I'm at peace.
yeah,
So
100%.
I challenge people. Don't. Yeah, you only have one life, so do what makes you happy. Don't do what you think should make you happy. Do what truly makes you happy and at peace.
Mm.
And if not, you don't want to regret. Later on in life, in your 50s, 60s, like I didn't achieve what I wanted in life because or I achieved what I like, but I'm not happy. That for me, I can't do it.
Yeah, nice, man. I love it. Um, Before we end
Appreciate it.
today, Suleiman, let the listeners
Yeah.
know about the book release dates and where they can order a copy for
Yeah.
themselves.
Yeah. So it's scheduled to be released on ebook platform on August 14th. Yeah. So if there's any change to that date, we'll let you know. The print book and the paperback version will be. So we've decided to release it in two phases because we have yet to find publishing contract, but something is in the works. So that, again, like I said, things might be a different announcement about that coming up. But yeah, the first phase will be ebook and audiobook. The ebook will definitely be available by the 14th. Audiobook very shortly after that, maybe the following week. We'll make an official announcement. And again, any changes to that, I'll make officially. But yeah, we want to get it into people's hands. We've had quite a few people review it, and we've had nothing but overwhelmingly positive reviews. People just really like this is amazing. So yeah, we can't wait to get it out.
That's great to hear, man. I can't wait to read it as well, to get a copy and read it myself.
Yeah.
Just
No
the
worries.
last question,
Well,
man.
I mean,
Sorry, go ahead.
I'll be able to send you an advance copy. I'll be able to send you an advance copy after we finish this. I'll send you an advance copy.
Thank you, man. I
You
appreciate it.
you get a special bonus. Yeah, man. Yeah,
Thank you very
it's,
much, man. I appreciate that. I just wanted to
yeah.
ask as well, like, how did the recording for the audiobook version go? And did you and Muta, did you
It's
meet
going well, man.
a studio like close to each other, or?
Yeah, he's got connections. So we were able to hook up a professional recording studio. It was serious work, man. Serious work. He was even laughing about it. He's like, this is nothing like recording with Pac. He's like, recording music is easier. Right, recording a book, it's not. It takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
And also going back through those things, very emotional. We talk about the death of his grandmother, death of Gaddafi, the death of Pac. So him actually going back through it again, it became emotional at times. So you had to chill for a little bit, because it was really, powerful. So, but it was an amazing experience, and for us, it was important again, just from the level of authenticity that the audio book presents the actual, protagonist, his voice, and the actual author of the book. Again, I don't know where that's done. Most people hire a professional, voiceover or whatever to do it. And, we really thought that, okay, I mean, we'll do it as professional as we can, but it's important for us, for the people to get the voice of Mutar myself. So, yeah, that should be also hopefully a nice treat.
Nice, man. Well,
Yeah.
thank you so much for joining me today, Sulaiman. And I wish the release of the book,
Amazing.
every bit of success. And thank you very much for your time. And I wish
Appreciate it.
you peace and success into the
Appreciate
future,
it.
man.
Same to you, man. Same to you. And anytime you want to have me on, if you want to have Mutar on, we can arrange that.
Thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. And yeah, enjoy the rest of your day. I'm glad we were able to get the connection going on Zoom.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was important.
All right, man. Thank you
Appreciate
so
it, man.
much. Take care, man.
No problem. Take care, bro. Take care.
Have a good day. Bye bye.
You too, man.